Hello, this is Wmpyr. Okay, so my student over in Japan, he just completed 1/3 of his black belt exam, so to speak. It's divided into three parts, and the first part is assault, second part is fighting, third part is self-defense. And the reason why I divided into those three parts is because in order to understand combat, I believe that those are the three types, the three major types of combat: assault, fighting, and self defense. And he did a wonderful job um, passing the assault portion. So that's part one. He finished that. The next part, he has two left. So the next part is the fighting part. Okay. And in this fighting part, what am I looking for? Um, Well, first of all, what is fighting? And fighting is it's your combat sports, okay? Um, whether it's MMA, Muay Thai kickboxing, judo, sambo, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, it's any kind of combat sports, okay? That falls into the fighting category because you're going at it against another fully resisting opponent. That's what fighting is about. It's a struggle. And what I'm looking for is not um, who's the winner, who's the loser. So I'm not asking him, hey, I want you to go have a full contact fight with somebody, or I need to see you in a Muay Thai match, or I need you to enter a grappling tournament. No, this is not what I'm looking for, because that's just, you win some, you lose some. I'm not interested in that. Okay, some people are strong and they're good at that kind of stuff and they can compete. If you're athletic, you have a strong body, you're young, you can do this stuff if you really dedicate yourself to it. Chances are you'll be able to do it, no problem. All right, but to me, that's not necessarily the martial arts that I'm looking for, because uh, like when I look at myself, can I do things at the level of special forces? I can't. I don't have that kind of body, you know. Same with an Olympic athlete. I cannot keep up with someone like that. It just is. So, you know, that's more about DNA or your upbringing, your environmental upbringing. There are people out there that are just on another level. And for example, there's people that can fight very well, and they've never taken a day of martial arts class. They've never done any kind of martial arts, but they can fight. And once again, that to me is not martial arts. That's their upbringing, the environment they were in. Maybe they were in and out of juvie, and then they ended up in prison, and they're just grown tough and hard, and they can fight, and that's kind of violent behavior is normal for them, so they're used to it and they're good at it. That's not what I'm looking for. To me, that's not martial arts, right? So then what is martial arts? What am I looking for? What I'm looking for is pretty much problem solving skills. So, if you think of the classical story, the Greek story, Odysseus, where he's confronted with the Cyclops. All right, so he and his men are in big trouble. They're trapped in this cave with a massive Cyclops. Okay, so he has to problem solve that. He has to figure out, because if we just go the way we're doing, we're all going to get eaten alive and we're all going to die. So, what can we do to survive? What can we do best right here? That to me is martial arts, where you are trying to figure out and trying to in some cases you need to improve yourself. You guys might need to make weapons. You might have to train and go plan things out. This is our strategy. This is what we're going to do. We're going to wait for the right time and we're going to do this. That to me is martial arts. Okay. So fighting wise, how is that expressed? And like I said, if you just go full contact, all we're going to find out is who wins and who loses. And that I'm not interested in. But the answer is in sparring, because when you see traditional martial arts go up against people who do combat sports and the traditional martial artist loses, you know, people go, well, what was the problem there? And for me, it's not really a problem, but it's just a different point of view. But the reason why they lost 9 times out of 10 is because they don't spar, or they don't spar as much. So it comes down to the sparring. So the sparring is the answer. But like I'm saying, if we just go full contact sparring, we go 100%, 100%, we're just going to figure out. So in my class, let's say I have 10 students and I make them all fight each other full contact. All we're doing is we're finding out a pecking order, not to mention all the injuries. But we're finding out who's number one and who's last and everything in between. That you're just creating that. And that I'm not interested in. That's not martial arts. I don't care about that, right? So it is the development, the ability to improve yourself, the ability to plan and problem solve. That is what I'm looking for. In order for you to do that in sparring, you have to be able to light spar. That's the answer. You need to be able to, I need to see that you have a volume control, that you don't go straight blast 100% against everybody. That's ridiculous. And if you do that, you're just going to get injured. So you're not going to last in this kind of thing. So in order to last in this kind of training, and for me, this has been true, whether it's kickboxing, whether it's grappling, whatever, you need to be able to volume control so that you can train with everybody. And yeah, let's say a lot of people don't understand how to spar lightly. When I look it up on YouTube, most people are going way too hard. I'm like, that is not light sparring. And they're being macho about it to cover up. And it's really, they don't have that control. Okay. And the other side of that is if you go light, then I see people going way too light to the point where it's not realistic at all. It's not going to help you. So that is the difficulty there. We need to be able to light spar without compromising either one, without going black or white, without going to where you're saying this is light sparring, but clearly you're hitting way too hard. And then you're saying this is light sparring, but it's not even sparring. Your technique's crap. You're moving in slow motion. That's not going to help you or the other person. That is not good. Okay. So it needs to still be realistic. You need to be still using good form, and you need to make sure that you don't get hurt and you don't hurt the other person. And you know what? When you light spar, it also depends on the other person, because there's going to be people that don't understand light spar, and even though they go, yeah, I'll spar 50%, 50% force, and they're coming at you clearly at 70% or higher. This person doesn't get it. They don't have the volume control, but that's normal. You're going to meet more people like that than people who say, I'm going to go 50%, and they could actually keep it at 50%, So being able to deal with someone like that, and if you turn up the volume, they're going 70%, so I'm going to go 70%. That will just go, they're going to go 80%. Now you go 80%, they go 90%, you go 90%, and then it turns into full contact. So that is clearly shows me that you don't know how to light spar. So, but being able to deal with someone like that, they're coming at you at, 80% or 100%, and you still keep yours at 50%. Okay. But because you're still doing it realistically, your footwork, your evasion, your defense, your blocks, those are all real. You have no problem. You could defend yourself, you could protect yourself, and you're not going 100% against the other guy where it turns into a real fight. Because once again, fighting that doesn't show me that you could train well. This is about showing me that you can train smart, that you know the difference between a real fight and a learning session. And that's what sparring that I'm interested in here is. We want to spar in order to learn, in order to improve. So if you cannot do that, then to me, you failed the test. And those are the things that I'm going to be looking for in the light sparring. But once again, the two biggest things that I notice. So the last part, my point was to be able to adapt depending on your training partner, because there's all kinds of training partners. Okay, there's all kinds. So you need to be able to adapt to that and still get the most out of learning. Still make it as realistic as possible, at least in your mind. But once again, the big two are, you guys are just going way too hard to where it doesn't qualify as light sparring. Maybe you're not going 100%, but you're hitting way too hard. And then number two is you guys are going way too light to the point where it's completely unrealistic. The form is bad. It looks like you're moving in slow motion. You could still move fast and not hurt the other person. That's what I'm interested in. You could still move fast and the form is realistic. So anyway, that's it for now. Thank you for viewing and take care, folks.